In this video, we'll look into the movements on an hex keys layout, from one key away from a given key, up to 3 first, then up to 7 keys away. Details will also be given on how these movements and their orientations will be named in my browser-based Hex Keyboard Patterns Manager, which only has a draft plan written for it as of posting this video, and will be implemented in anywhere from 1 month to 3 months later. Angles used here will have north as 0 degrees, with each multiple of 30 degrees being divisible by 30 to find the position corresponding odd numbers appearing on a clock. Mathman will proudly tell you this is wrong. But anyways, angles are never used in my Molds Manager's nomenclature. These are called the horizontal axis and the 2 straight diagonals, because their path isn't obstructed by any other keys not aligned on these diagonals, unlike half the keys of the 2-away ring, which are located on the new angles provided by stepping further, which point in the directions of even numbers on a clock. From 2 steps away and beyond, any new diagonal axis is called a wild diagonal. Surprisingly, at first for me, the 12 new angles provided when stepping away 3 keys out are all off from multiples of 60 by plus or minus 11 degrees. So far, nothing hard to visualize while navigating the hexagonal layout, which may make it seem like just a question of visual patterns which have nothing to do with resulting harmonies. As we will now see, only using angles provided by the 1-away ring risks avoiding some potentially interesting intervals. Steps 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 12 are attainable, moving on the horizontal axis or straight diagonals. But to play steps 1, 2, 5, 10, and 11, you must travel through a wild diagonal axis. Let's now have a look at how new wild diagonals come out on rings from 2 away to 7 keys away from the center hex key. The present illustration shows only the new wild diagonals available on each ring. You can tell the angles from the 1-away ring are always present. This is because every number is a multiple of 1. Thus, multiples of 2 in play here, 4 and 6, have the first set of wild diagonals repeated in them, while the prime-numbered rings, 3 away, 5 away, and 7 away, present all new wild diagonals, except for the 6 keys found on the horizontal axis and straight diagonals from the 1-away ring. When the Molds Manager will be a thing on my website, its first tutorial is going to be about movements, which knowledge of is required to jump to the next level, molds, so you find your way more easily to switch from a mold to another in one of the different modes that demands to do so. The movements which a rival key find itself in the 1-away or 2-away hex rings are named after the hours of the clock they point to, with the suffix "o", which is short for a clock. Finally comes the number of hex keys widths. The movement leads you away from the central hex key, or simply X in the name of the X-away ring. The second hex key falls into relative to first key. The orientations of movements are also used to baptize molds with their 3-part nomenclature: orientation plus dimension plus name, which together forms what is called a mold's full name. Sometimes names induce orientation, which is left out in that case. Finally, the 3-away orientations get a little more funky, yet squeezed down to the least information possible. Even hours on a clock, preceded of 11t or 11p, which are short for 11 to 2 or 11 past noon. Yeah, I chose noon because I like the sun, and mid sounded just that. This is already all for this tutorial and presentation. Thanks for watching.